And welcome to the Project Spark stream, the historical day 2 or day point 1.5 or point 0.5.
It feels like we just left this room.
Yeah, of the Project Spark beta stream. For anybody catching up, Project Spark technically went live. The Win8 beta went live yesterday. And what we're going to do for at least this week and maybe next week, we're going to do a stream every day at noon to just try to, address some questions and give everybody, in a lot of ways, give everybody in the community a chance to get together and chat around an event so you guys can meet each other and help each other. And I know everybody's waiting for beta keys, and we've been slowly rolling those out, and we'll continue to do that. And we get some good stuff today. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But first off, my name is Mike Lesko. I'm the community manager on Project Spark, although yesterday I think I was the project manager on Community Spark. So
You were. It was a short-lived promotion.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
We're taking your parking spot back, by the way.
And Henry will introduce himself.
I'm Henry Searchy, creative director on Project Spark.
That's why I got a ticket. I understand.
Yeah, we took that right back.
And I'm Jared Greiner, one of the designers on Project Spark.
And so today we're gonna we want to answer the questions. We want to talk about we'll give more information on beta and what's kind of happening with the beta key rollout and stuff like that. And then Jared is going to I don't know, is the right term go deep on brains, or what's the?
Yeah, we're just going to kind of walk through the organization of the brain folders and stuff to kind of give people a kind of direction to start in.
Cool idea where to start, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
and we got a different intro this time. Jared's going to do the intro. We had an idea.
Yeah, you want to throw up the game on the stream there, Mike?
Okay, yeah. I guess. Jeez.
So we had our first community stream last night.
Now we're tiny.
Duquesne 23.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Made an awesome stream that I just totally trolled the heck out of.
And that was fun.
It was like me, Henry, and Tom were in the chat, and we were yelling, "Hey, when's beta? When's the 360 beta?" Oh, it was great fun. And then I thought he was getting a little cranky, so I was like,
we are putting him in Wishing Well rehab.
Yeah, he did. He kept. I think he's got a wishing well problem.
Yeah, he just wanted to dump all the coins right in the wishing well.
Yeah, he just immediately went right to the wishing well. I was really worried.
So, Jared's firing up the build already. Project Spark is where players create and creators play.
Mm-hmm.
It is an open world sandbox where you can create your own games, movies, stories, and more, and share them with the world. Jared is going to do something different here, and he's going to just put a bunch of characters in the world and see what type of fun interactions and experiences you can make just by sort of playing with the proverbial toy box of throwing these objects in together. And he's going through some of the default brains that these objects come with. We thought today would be a good time to dive into some of the default brains.
Yep. So it looks like these guys we got a goblin and a fighter guy set up. So we're just going to set up a giant battle scene to get things started. But just to show what that looks like when you drop these two guys into a level next to each other, you've got your fighter character and the goblin will start going at each other. And we'll see who wins here. I don't know.
Because they're natural born enemies.
Yeah. They're actually programmed for one to be on team 1 and one to be on team 2 there. It looks like that goblin is really wrecking the fighter.
Oh, the U-shaped hill will come back.
Okay. So we're just going to set that up on kind of a much larger scale here. You just want to do it in the empty level, or should I give some terrain to it first?
Get that army in there and then do the U-shaped hill.
Okay, yeah. So let's just get a giant group of goblins kind of hanging out.
Is his detect large enough?
It looks like this guy's not set up to use detect. He's just
He's
whatever
just everything,
enemy is
yeah,
nearby. So he'll charge at you from across the map.
Yeah, Mike's hiding.
Sorry.
Maybe some bigger ones in there too.
Sounds a good idea. So again, we're just going to show you what you can do in the first couple minutes is use a bunch of the stuff that we've provided. These default brains, these characters and enemies on different teams and stuff like that. And you can create some fun things. Jared just completed a challenge for scaling 5 props.
Yeah, scaling up those goblins there. All right, guys.
Whoa.
They're all going to follow me around now because I'm their leader. So let's gather up all these guys.
It's like a in-person RTS. They need a little spacing love there.
Nope, mob formation. And they all have friendly fire set on by default.
Some of the goblins caught you.
See if I can draw all the goblins in here. Now I've just got a giant battle going here.
Should we wager? Let's wager beta keys and wishing well.
If I get in here and help, I can kind of.
Oh no, you're cheating now.
Yeah, it looks like my fighters with their axes have got these goblins handled. This guy's getting wrecked out here. Everybody come help.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Oh, you know, they have a kill steal protocol around this in most MMOs and MOBAs and stuff like that. He just totally sent over the guys to kill steal.
Look at that wall of axes and helmets and stuff there.
That is hilarious.
This way, everybody. So those characters there, they all come with, these guys have a brain on them that makes them follow the player around by default, and then if they detect any of the player's enemies, they'll go attack them. And since all the goblins are set up to be enemies of the player by default, they'll all help me fight in a battle there. So let's kind of create a little bit more interesting landscape to
The great
enact.
epic battle for the U-shaped
Yeah,
hill.
maybe like a U-shaped hill up on a hill.
That's a cool idea.
And then some, like a valley to go charging down into. So
Maybe an object at the top, that if they break it or something like that, it's game over.
yeah, that could work.
That could be cool. We could show some of the brains around detecting damage and stuff.
Let's get a nice big brush. I'm gonna go make myself a plateau.
No, you got a U-shaped hill.
I want to build a hill up on.
They were gonna revolt.
Just a regular old U-shaped hill. You want the same thing again? All right.
We are like the Milli Vanilli of opening.
All right.
intros.
Big U-shaped hill to kind of surround these.
We
guys.
are the one-hit wonder here.
Let's up
I'm
that
not gonna
intensity.
backseat U-shaped hill. I want to, but I'm not gonna backseat U-shaped hill.
I'm gonna make it a nice big one. Kind of surrounding my
It's
little
like
camp.
a snaking U-shaped hill.
I like to make it kind of uneven a little bit, so you get more natural-looking terrain than.
Well, we have new news on the store. It sounds like it should be.
No, I'm not buying that.
I know.
It's in the
We're
pipes.
told that the buttons have been pushed to the buttons that need to be pushed.
See,
There may have been some donut distractions.
when you
or
work
something
in
like that.
community, you become immediately
know.
distrustful
All
of
right.
anything anybody says.
Hey, I was checking all night too.
Remember, so you don't want to actually go out and say something that.
You know what I thought about yesterday? There is no good way to spend January, February. Because you can say January, damn, or you can go February, damn.
Yeah, it always ends in damn, no matter what.
That's right.
And
There's no January, February.
that's why I thought early 2014 was much safer than.
Yeah, let's stick with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I mean.
Based on history.
Yeah, I don't. I think the team's official plan is still January, but I mean, let's be realistic. We saw. I mean, this is a new process. There's new things here. We saw where we came out with beta, so I just, I don't know. I don't want to put my name in the line and say, oh, it'll absolutely be in January. Henry's name, I will. So, but early 2014 is what I want to say, just so that we're accurate. I don't want to mislead you guys or anything, although we are definitely going to be trying for January.
This is looking good.
Oh, thank you.
I think this could be the new U-shaped hill
my
plan.
uneven,
I like this. Yeah, with the
hill there
little
worked out.
snaking Amazon River thing you got going there.
Okay.
And we're running in the proper resolution today, so that was a
Oh,
that was a plus.
did
Who knows
we-
how long we've been doing that?
Did we change the? We,
Yeah, we
we
fixed
actually did
it.
That's
that.
probably when we installed the beta build there. We
It
just
probably
forgot to
is.
go back and.
Every
look at
time
that.
we install a build, it ends up with the crappy stuff because I forget.
They're probably thinking Team Dakota can't afford any kind of capture units that put resolution.
It's actually a pretty good machine. This is core. It's Age of
No, it
Empires,
is. But that doesn't help when you play the build in a lower resolution.
Get some flowers in there.
Oh, look at this.
I can even put snow
J-
up on top of
I
the
think
hill.
Jared is positioning himself as the quintessential U-shaped hill demoer now.
Hey, I mean, I probably did it like how many times at E3 and then our demos since then. So, okay, they need some bridges to cross this, and then to fill in the background with the biome and all that stuff. All right, so get a bridge in there. Let's rotate that then.
You know what'd be funny is just to have a community U-shaped hill contest.
Best use of U-shaped hill every
Exactly.
year. Ooh, might have.
Oh, the infamous bridge.
The bridge. What's up with that?
Oh.
Hold on.
Oh boy.
See, I told you that happened to me.
So what did you do to crash it?
If you put the bridge down and it's over too wide of a, I don't know, whatever that river, that is where, and because
I'm listening intently.
Well, let's
like
show
you
off
have
the
an
continue
idea.
button then.
That's right.
I'm not really good at
For sure.
building, and so I always make the stuff too wide, and I always do that, and I always try to
So
crash.
backtrack a
You
little
lost
bit.
some decent progress there.
Yeah,
That
it's every
normally
5
doesn't
minutes
happen.
it'll save there. So I need to get my tunnel. I won't do everything back again, but I'm going to get the tunnel in there. And then paint it up a little bit. Oh, that was the wrong one.
So one of the
undo.
things I wanted to show yesterday, I think you showed snap to grid. I actually wanted to show the grid.
Oh,
I don't think we've
work
shown the grid.
plane
No, the grid. Here.
Oh, right. I forget about this feature.
So I don't think we've shown the grid, have we?
I feel like we're talking about Tron here or something.
The grid.
The draw surface grid.
There it is. Okay. Yeah.
So we talked about rulers and stuff like that. If you wanted to get spacing, there is an option to just draw the surface grid across the whole world.
Wait,
as
so
well.
can you scale the ruler? The ruler?
No,
I didn't
you could
even-
not. That's why I stopped yesterday, because I was pretty sure you couldn't. But I wanted to make sure and check it in the build in case that had been changed or something. But yeah, you can't scale the ruler.
Yeah, I guess the thinking
A
there
ruler is a ruler, really.
is to
what
keep it
is.
so that it always measures 1 meter with every unit.
Yeah.
You could attach a bunch of them together and make longer ones or whatever.
All you can
it
do is
you need to
debate
do.
which should be used as imperial or metric.
Yeah, I think it's all in meters in here, so we're kind of a fan of that system apparently.
Yes, and we should be. The world should be, honestly.
Yeah, everyone else is doing it wrong. Okay.
I just joke about that.
So do I risk a bridge? Maybe I just make a plateau bridge or something then.
That sounds good, because we got to get guys across.
Yeah, we got to make sure they don't.
And I
get
have no
stuck in
idea
the
what
river. I
Mike's
made a
got around
really
those
shallow
bridges,
river,
so-
so they should be able to climb out of it.
Yeah, that's
Because there's nothing in these guys' brains to say that they don't want to be swimming or anything like that. So
But now you can make progress towards your plateau challenge.
that's true. This river's not deep enough to really give a plateau there.
No, that wasn't much.
Well, let's make a deeper river then.
That was like a
In this
sand
one
barge.
spot.
Jared's gonna make some sand barges for a while. I almost answered a question from Mike
mode
Leska.
there.
What?
Maybe it's all
Zed
steep
says
on
he has a
the-
buggy problem.
All right, Zed. What's the buggy problem?
I'm waiting for someone to say something, but that's not how it works.
I'm too busy chatting away.
All right, make sure it's a nice kind of gradual slope on the other side, so people should be able to climb out. Okay, and switching over to plateau.
Squirrels for soldiers.
Okay.
It
There
looks
we
like
go.
the chat is pro-metric.
Couple bridges.
Okay.
Maybe this is like the advanced U-shaped hill. Oh, with some extra
Terminator squirrels.
multiple bridges in and
Did you
out.
see Arnold Schwarzenegger Reddit charity message that he put up the other day? That's pretty hilarious.
Okay. Biomes kind of fill in the background there. Oh, not the eraser biome. That wouldn't do anything. Start big and go small later. Okay. Trees everywhere.
Mike, do they use the metric system in Kazakhstan?
Well, yes, they do.
That's why we're such big fans of the metric
That's right.
system.
Absolutely.
Okay, that'll do to start there, and then some more
Unfortunately, we are
fine
live
detail.
from Kazakhstan again.
We're still in Kazakhstan. Our plane tickets
Yeah.
got delayed or something there.
Something got held up in customs.
Yeah, I told you they weren't going to let you take that out, Henry.
That's right.
But
They
you
thought,
know,
they thought we were smuggling U-shaped hills. There's a
They're
U-shaped hill
dangerous
tariff.
goods.
the whole
apparently.
for medicinal
There's a
purposes
U-shaped hill
did
tariff
not fool
that we
those guys.
didn't pay properly.
Right, I'm just gonna fill that in with some dirt up here because that's where the goblins live.
I almost feel like I need a dice and I want to roll turns now that I have the grid on here. That is the other thing I'm really looking forward to seeing. Somebody making a board game.
Yeah, you made the blackjack game.
I did make the
originally,
blackjack
right?
game, so a card game sort of got covered. I'm
All right,
trying to
guys.
do a Texas Hold'em game at some point, but I thought a board game would be cool. I was sort of waiting on multiplayer for Texas Hold'em, but we'll see.
I've been playing. I'm a big board game, PC board gaming guy. So
I didn't realize the grid stayed on in play mode when you were doing it. I wonder if
So
that's
that would be
intentional.
really cool.
I don't think that is
I might need the community to give me some lessons though.
on the big one.
Well, no, just there's like a lot of little things,
I'm
little
gonna hide up
tricks
here
that I
while
get
my
stuck
guys
on.
go fight things.
Oh, nice.
Shoot those
Oh,
goblins in the back.
see, you can't resist.
All right.
Can't resist tipping the scales.
Where do we want to go from here, Henry? Should we dive into some
Is
specific
it
brains
normal
now
if
or something?
Spark restarts if you don't have it on your screen for so long?
We'll have to ask one of our tech guys that. I don't know the answer to that one off the top of my
Shouldn't,
head.
unless you have something going on where you're like shutting down your hard drive or you're doing
Maybe
something to
power
minimize your
saving or
battery,
something. Yeah, that could probably
if you're
mess it
doing
up.
some stuff like that, that might actually flip its focus, which might actually close it. But it shouldn't. It should just stay on.
Will there be more animals in the future?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think you can go through the gallery. There's a couple animals in there. I don't know if we've shown a lot of.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, where's Bias?
Where's who?
Bias screenshots every time we show the. Although I think Bias is now in the beta or will be soon, so
Oh, there
I
you
guess
go.
that.
And this is
Rob-
what you'll see when you
See,
get in there.
you take. I shouldn't have given you a key. Now
So,
this was so much fun for us.
sparrows, goblins, squirrels, sandfish, desert cottontail.
Yeah, and these come with
I know you guys have seen a wolf in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's that wolf?
In progress.
In progress land.
It was smuggling U-shaped hills.
Got held up as well.
Oh, I used to get
It's
confiscated
doing
at the
some extra
border.
paperwork for aliens. No one gets that joke. If you pause the game
If I pause
and
it.
you look at the restart icon, oh, you gotta go to test.
Okay, test.
So if you pause and you look at the restart icon, I swear that is an alien asking you to do paperwork.
Henry,
Somebody said to me, "Why don't you use restart?" And I said, "You mean the alien who gives you paperwork? I don't want to use that."
that is kind of funny. I
I wonder
didn't
if I
know
can get
that.
these guys to like follow me up a hill or something.
So the question is, Henry, has your wife made anything cool in Project Spark?
She made a
With your beta key.
She made, yeah, I know, she did. I have to get her to share the level. She's being very meticulous. She made a side-scrolling Wipeout game, not the racing game, but she made like the television show game. And she's got the section where you have to jump across the giant red balls and you can fall off. And she was asking me on how to apply physics to them, so when you jumped on them, it actually pushed them down. And she took great pride when my son, my 3-year-old, couldn't actually play through and fell off every time. And then they fell into the water, and he immediately asked for a goblin to attack you while in the water, and she was able to do that, so it was pretty funny. WWE 2005 is going back to Intellivision days. And on that note, I really want to make a Utopia game.
Oh yeah.
Whoever played Intellivision, you gotta remember Utopia. That was such an amazing game. So, sorry, Mike.
Tao is doing some good math, and he's pretty interesting. And those calculations may be correct, only you don't know how many initial keys I have or how many have already been given up. So there is some variable there. But that's good stuff.
All I know is I'm just kind of sad for the person who gets the 0.5 key
I know.
that day.
Half a key. Well,
Half a key, ha ha.
tell them what happened yesterday after the stream when you were trying to get a key.
Oh my goodness!
I wouldn't do it.
So I wasn't kidding. I really wanted a key. So first of all, Mike set up a meeting that I couldn't make. So I asked Mike for a key, and the first
That's
thing
the way to
I
get
get
things
is,
done.
"You're not at my meeting. You don't get a key."
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did kind of dangle
So finally, our marketing person, Michael Wolf, sent me a key. So I'm now in his debt,
that. Yeah,
and Mike is pretty much
in the doghouse now.
Yeah.
Hey, community first, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Protected my community
I
keys.
promise I'll use it.
Well, yeah. I wasn't sure you were gonna play. I was afraid
I
you were gonna be one of those
know,
people
I
that gets a key and say,
I-
"Look,
I
I got a
have-
key," and you never use it.
I have a hard time I have a hard time playing games.
That is not true.
Bias says he hit the prop limit, but I think he's lying.
No, I don't know.
Unless you set out to hit the
photo
prop
or it
limit.
didn't happen.
Yeah. Pics or it didn't happen, man.
That's right. So what about our battle for the U-shaped hill? The little object that you can send maybe some people off to damage and attack. Or what if you put a third faction in there? Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting idea. I was going to show off the ranger guys here. Kind
Oh,
of similar
cool.
to the fighter ones there. They'll follow me around, but then they have a different kind of attack, so...
Wow. Those guys need a nerf. Mike, you're familiar with nerfing, right?
I wouldn't know anything about that. There was
Let's go,
no left axe nerf.
Yeah, sure.
Alright,
Didn't
let's
affect
lead
my
all these
Shadow
goblins
Blade
over to
either.
the firing range.
I totally nerfed Henry's Shadow
He
Blade.
did, man. That was not
awesome.
cool. I was like #1 Shadow Blade on my server.
Yeah, and then what happened? Oh, you whined and quit. That's why you should nerf people.
That's right. I went to Albion. You said I don't know.
Yeah, I did, man. We did really badly when I played Albion.
Yeah, I did too. I made one of those losers or whatever they were. They had side styles, but everybody kept lagging, so you could never side style anyone.
But it was funny because like there was one time when Midgard was doing really, really bad, and that's when we were all happened to be playing there, and everybody was saying, "Oh, look at the top 25." Nobody on hardly anybody on Midgard is in the top 25. There was two of us who were developers that were in like the top 5. The only 2 Midgards in there were like.
Well, Midgard had the underdog syndrome.
I think that's the two.
Yeah.
We have like a regular kind of follower guy as well, but he doesn't do any fighting. He's just like a guy with a torch or
We're
something.
talking something else, and Jared's like,
Oh.
back to business. Horse
What?
screenshots. What's
Why
going on?
Apparently we have the travel app open. I'm gonna get rid of that.
We were booking our plans back from Canada.
we're
I
trying
want to
to
get
figure
out of Kazakhstan eventually. All right, jeez.
Apparently that's our problem, is we're taking horses to get out of Kazakhstan.
Look, man, I'm sorry. I can only book you the mule, man. I'm sorry.
totally picturing spies like us. Mind if I play through?
All right, where do we want to go?
All right,
next?
so you want to get
back to business.
All right, so do we want to do like something to defend, or do you want to just go to the brain level? That
Yeah, let's go over to the other level we were getting set up and just talk through how we can use different parts of the brain and stuff.
All right, so let's do that.
Might come back to this later. We'll see how we're feeling.
So Jared's going to do a deep dive on some of the brain stuff. So some people are interested in the tutorial. You might want to show the hero module at some point.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have a stream that goes through that itself too.
Yeah, but showing the hero module like drop into the world you're making is pretty cool.
All right. I don't actually know too much about that feature, so you want
So
to
if you just go into tutorial, so start,
Okay.
and then tutorial, and then if you say, so you're making your game, you're making your level, and then you're like, hey, I want a hero. How do I do that? Or I forgot how to add one of those things. You just go into here, and this little hero module drops right in.
Okay.
And then there you are. You're in the little tutorial
All
that'll
right.
put a hero into your game.
So let's walk through that real quick. I think I already have a hero there, but we'll make another one. We can do 2.
Dude, this is great. I'm gonna get all these Spark
You
credits
are.
from all the times. This is awesome.
I was actually watching Duquesne level last night. It was pretty funny. And he was
Oh.
getting close to level 3. And he was like, oh, I'm almost level 3.
All right, I'm just gonna breeze through this because I pretty much know how all these features
And I sort of
work.
wanted to tell him, go to the challenge screen.
All right, we're gonna grab a character. What should I make a hero out of? What do people want me to use?
Well, they said we had a profound lack of squirrel in this.
All right, let's make a squirrel hero.
You can't finish the tutorial. I think you can. It just kind of sometimes bugs out towards the end.
Click the brain icon.
Kinda sometimes bugs out.
Yeah, I've seen the tutorial bug out at the end, but I've also gotten through it too.
It's a challenge.
It
It
is.
is actually
It is.
a
Can you get
challenge
through the
to get through the
tutorial,
tutorial system.
Really? What's everybody saying? Really? What? I missed something in chat. Really?
Giant squirrel hero.
Yeah, I'll make him bigger after we after
Paradox
I
is
get a
gonna
brain
stream.
in there.
Did Paradox? Did you stream yesterday? Because I saw it, and it was too late. You were offline already. So.
It was one of those quick streams, like the beginning of ours, where we say, "Oh, it's over."
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I've got 2 characters in the world here, so that's gonna make it kind of interesting. See, I can in this case, I've got my squirrel
that's right.
set up on WASD and my character set up on the controller here. That's kind of funny. All right, well, we're gonna go back and finish off that that squirrel.
Yeah, guys, we stopped breaking. Poor Mark has set up that community website, project-spark.org. Of course, I'm not helping by
No,
giving
you're
the.
not. No.
You guys keep crashing that, so be nice.
Press a key, space.
Henry, overnight, not that I secretly get up at the middle of the night and check
No,
to see
me
what's
neither.
going on online, but we had 30 people in our Twitch channel overnight.
Our Twitch channel. That was
Yeah, it was kind of like the Game of Thrones, The
That was
Walking
funny.
Dead, beta.
Page
I actually
2.
tried to. I'm not great at searching Twitch. I actually tried to search Twitch to see if you could just find people that were broadcasting Project Spark. And of course, I got our channel, and I don't know, it was like 10:30 at night. And I did see a couple people in there asking about beta keys, of course.
Really crazy.
So have you like combined worlds here? You have the.
Oh, I should have deleted this character before I started the
Right.
hero module because now I've got double characters going on.
Well, you can always exit when if you want.
So this will keep going through, guiding
so the
you how to
question
add.
about selecting multiple.
How can you select multiple characters to play beginning with play? Meaning multiple controllable characters at once? So basically, if anything has controls on it and a camera, you'll be able to control anything at once. If you want to like swap cameras or like do some sort of like character picker, you can set that up in like a ton of different ways. You can force people into a selection, or you could actually just push brains to the
Look at the
character you
squirrel
want to
attack,
pick.
swinging his tail around there.
I love that. He looks like he's doing like karate if you zoom in on him. It's pretty funny.
All right.
All right, so As you see, as you're making a level, you can drop in one of those hero modules or
Yep.
one of those other modules and just make that right in your level. It doesn't disturb your level, so you can just
See,
keep
I
on
got
going.
I got the tutorial complete challenge
Oh,
there
nice.
for the hero. All right, I'm back to controller.
Now
here.
you're in space.
I'm in space.
In space.
All right, I'm gonna make that squirrel a little bit bigger and get rid of this guy. Bye. Okay.
All right, so we're going with the squirrel for now.
Yep. Just for now. There we go. Playable character revealed.
Oh, now
squirrel.
you got to do the fight.
Oh, I've got
You
it
gotta
all
do the
hooked up
kick-
on mouse and
okay.
keyboard there. Let me just jump in his brain and swap that
He's
out.
we need to give him like a crane kick.
Left stick.
So all of the questions seem to be based around beta keys.
Surprise, surprise.
After the release of Project Spark, we update it regularly with free new content. Yeah, absolutely. The plan is to continue growing and expanding, and you know, that definitely involves adding new free content, adding new brain functionality, new tiles. There's definitely a plan to continue to build and grow what Project Spark is. We have the community requesting a lot of things like day and night cycle and stuff like that, and we'd love to add those things. So the idea is to continue growing. That guy is just adorable.
Yeah.
I don't know why people want to set him on fire and kill him and drop the piano on him.
Okay, so we'll jump in from the squirrel in here and just kind of work through some parts of the brain. So you've seen us work in here a little bit as we went through the tutorial and kind of set this up. We're going to start with just a blank line and kind of open up some folders and tell you what you'll find in there. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay, so every line has a when and a do side. So the when side is kind of your condition. So when this condition is met, do an action that you can set up there. And the game will kind of contextually like hint you what kind of stuff is useful on each side of the line.
And you'll see completely different folders when you go into each of those sides.
Right, so if we jump
Basically.
in on the when side here,
So we call these folders at the top level.
Yeah, folders and then pages of
Right.
folders and stuff
Because
like
the folders
that.
contain tiles within them.
Yep. So like for instance, if we go into objects here, then we've got the blue ones, those are the individual tiles, and then the continued like brown gray ones there are additional folders that you can keep diving deeper and deeper into.
Yes, there is a not modifier.
Yep, right there. Anyway, okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that folder in a second. We're over here right now. We're
I
starting
don't
on
think
the
I
right.
ever said that.
So on the one side here, just looking around, we've got objects, values, sensors, movement, combat, appearance, timing and logic, controls, and that keeps going on to the second page with some more advanced stuff. But just to show you the comparison, notice here we got sensors. I think that guy's going to disappear when I switch over to the do side, just to kind of show you how that works.
Nope. There's things you can.
Object filters. Okay.
Yeah, there's things
well,
you can use to relay from the filters, the sensors you've set up.
Then create is new. I know create is a do action.
Right.
There's no condition for when something is
Right.
being created.
But it does contextually switch when you go over to the do side. So some things
Right.
disappear and some things change their context.
Right, and then also timing and logic is only on the when side because this is all timers and when this timer is finished and things like that. So that's a little bit. That's kind of we call that. This is a combination of tile organization. That's like putting everything into the folders that Claude, myself, and Reed work on, and then the tile compatibility feature of kind of showing you what's relevant in the context of the rule you're writing at the time there.
Right.
So. Let's go with let's start with some timer stuff. That's kind of a pretty simple idea to get
Yeah,
across.
I think the three core things that I almost always, or I use a majority of the time. So, you know, again, like Project Spark has some things that at the surface are really, really easy to use, but then there's a lot of depth if you want to go deeper. I normally use timers and logic. I normally use sensors. That's a really good flexible thing. And then obviously controls or, you know, some kind of input.
So now you'll notice here I put a countdown timer to start my line, and then when I jump into the tile picker again, there's a couple new folders because now contextually we know that there's some modifiers you might want to use on that countdown timer, and then you can do some interesting stuff with comparing different values to each other to see like how much the timer is finished and things there. So in this case, I want to go get a number, which is in values, and then the numbers folder, and then I'm going to pick a constant number. So after 2 seconds, that's what this is going to do.
So if you picked nothing, it would be 1 second.
Yeah, by default, it's 1
So
second.
a lot of these things just also work as well. You know, we've always talked about things just working and then being able to expand on them to be more custom. If
Yep.
you just threw a countdown timer in there, it would be 1 second. But you can add your own number. You can use a bunch of default numbers that just sit there.
And then I'm going to make this rock just explode after a countdown timer. So for instance, to do that, I could just set it up to, after 2 seconds, destroy. But in this case, all that would do is make the rock disappear. I wouldn't have any explosion or sound or anything fancy like that. So let's go ahead and show off child rules then, to kind of set up a couple actions to happen on one condition. So if I take this rule and I nudge it over one, now this is what we call a child rule.
So you added a new line there too.
Yep, so when I go down here on the left and press A, I'll get a new line. When I press A on a line that already exists, I can move it around a little bit, indent it back and forth, and kind of create this hierarchy of parents and childs.
Yeah.
So the child rule here will operate a condition for the parent is met. So now I can do a couple different actions. I'm going to go ahead and insert a new one there. I click the left stick to do that. So I've got 2 child rules now. So if I go in, I'm going to destroy, and do that second. So I'm going to swap those. I can move those up and down, back and forth there. And first, we'll play an effect. So let's go ahead.
So in the create folder is a variety of different things. That's where you go when you want to start triggering things like effects or sounds or even terrain actions and stuff like that.
So we got create an object, destroy an object, play an effect, play a sound, play some music.
Debug stuff is in here.
Yeah, you can create your interface, you can create shapes. That's a lot of the stuff that I built that kind of Retro Reborn level out of, is pretty much everything in that folder, the shape stuff there. Then you got your terrain actions for things like adding and removing terrain.
Hey Mike, are you going to release beta keys? There seems to be a popular question around that.
And then we've got a couple other like special things you can create.
Mike's writing a grocery list right now.
I know. Everybody thinks I'm reading chat. I'm actually just...
So here we can show off a thing here. That little yellow flag that's on the play effects there lets you know that this line is incomplete. So you need to add another tile here to finish the line. Right. So
and if you get, 2 yellow flags, you get kicked out of the game. Oh, no, that's,
your beta key gets revoked.
Right, that's football.
Right?
That's football.
No. Okay, so with the play effect there, I'm going to go and add on an extra effect. So to get to the effects that I want,
So show people real quick what happens when you go to test mode with a yellow on your character.
So it'll show you there, the brain is broken. That's our broken brain symbol there to let you know that something needs to be finished or is incomplete or broken.
It looks more like I got struck by lightning down the middle of his brain.
Ripped in half brain.
But it's definitely broken.
Something's wrong. If you play, it'll still work. It won't prevent you from playing the level or anything like that, but it's just kind of warning you, letting you know when you get in there, it's not going to do everything you thought it was going to do. So let's go ahead and finish this rock explosion up. So we'll set it up. I'm going to grab an effect out of the prop gallery here. So from objects into prop gallery.
Oh, you totally got that auction on that guy.
And then I'm going to filter.
Mike's on eBay.
Yeah, that was great, man. Oof.
Ooh, that was close.
So I'm going to filtering by effects now, and there's a bunch of different stuff in here. Let's look up. I know there's like a rock explosion of some kind that would probably work pretty well in this context.
I think it's called stone.
All right, scrolling all the way over to S.
It used to be stone something. Still in SP.
Keep going.
Stone explosion.
There it is, stone explosion. So now after 2 seconds,
I knows my effects.
Countdown 2 seconds. Play stone explosion and then destroy. So from here, we will test. So just watch that rock, and it's gone. So that's kind of a simple little brain there, using a couple different pieces.
Go back. Hit pause. Somebody. Oh no, the levels changed. Somebody's making a P-Cross game.
I saw that. Yeah, I played that yesterday.
Oh, I love Mario P-Cross.
All right, so keep layering on top of this.
I gotta send myself a note to go find that.
Let's show off one thing a little bit. Kind of the order you put the rules in will kind of affect how they work.
It's a subtle thing, but it doesn't affect like all scenarios.
Right.
But
we got one right here that would affect.
It does. Otherwise, you would destroy before the effect.
Right. So if we switch the order on these guys, if we try and play the effect after destroying the rock, when we destroy the rock, it'll also destroy the brain of the rock. So then it'll never get to the next instruction of playing the stone explosion.
Yep.
So I'll just show that real quick.
Somebody mentioned a load runner. Isn't that what the vowel E said?
See, there you go. We didn't get the effect.
You wanted to remake load runner
because of the order.
Yeah, Jay Pedro. A lot of people reporting that. We got our services guys looking into that website white box thing. So
yeah, I tried a couple times last night and I didn't hit it. Give us some information on what browser you were using.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the destroy there.
Hey, Mike, why are you putting up 25 random numbers on eBay?
hey, come on, man. Mortgage to pay.
I'm going to
buy it now?
Well, you got to get it while it's getting good.
I'm going to show the difference between countdown and duration timer. Seems like a pretty crucial one there.
We actually don't use duration timer much in the streams, but duration timer is really useful, especially when you start doing things like text and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. So if I just swap out that countdown timer for a duration timer here, what this does is says for 2 seconds play the stone explosion. So we should get kind of a repeating stone explosion for the first 2 seconds, and then it will stop.
How do the brains know which one activates first, from a player or logic cube or camera or whatever?
All the brains that are in that you set up in the game all activate on as soon as the game starts.
Right. If you wanted to stagger them to do some sort of a list or something like that, there's a bunch of ways you can do that. One of the easiest ways I do it is, have timers on objects that page switch, or have logic in objects that page switch the logic for the other object. So for example, if you want to do something like when a rock enters an area, it can activate the character or switch over to the character. You can have a trigger set up, and then it can activate the brain to switch over to that other thing, and then it'll switch pages.
It looks like our play effects is set up to just play the effect once, so I'm going to go ahead and
Yeah,
swap
it
that
will.
out. So let's talk about maybe appearance, do some stuff in there.
Yeah,
That's
they
pretty
grow
cool.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
grow or highlight or any of those would work pretty well. So we'll set it up to grow. This could be bad. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens. It might
So
grow.
our effects will loop. I believe the way it works is you have to have the duration timer longer than the default loop for the effect in order for it to play
that
it
would
again.
make sense. Yeah.
So I think that's how that works. I'm not entirely sure though.
There's definitely ways to set that up. You can just create an effect alternatively. There we go.
Whoa!
So for the first 2 seconds, the rock just grew, and now we have a giant rock.
Oh.
Oh, the squirrel almost like reacted to it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
All right, I'm gonna set this up so he's kind of looking at the rock right when it starts, so we can kind of see that happen. Or I could set him up to be on top of the rock as it grows. That'd be kind of fun.
that might show
There we
the
go.
space.
So you can see the rock grows there for 2 seconds, and then it stops growing.
So we are playing Project Spark on Windows 8.1 on PC with an Xbox controller. You can play it with touch, mouse, keyboard, controller, and you can do things like create on your Surface Pro and then continue over on your Xbox when we ship the beta and stuff like that.
So what's the one sentence description overview of what this game is? Somebody was asking.
It
think
is
Canvas was
it
asking.
You got it.
is an
Grinning.
open world digital canvas where users can
Don't
create-
read what I say.
No, I
Hey,
hate
we've all
doing
practiced
the same
this.
thing. It's an open world digital canvas where you can create your own stories, movies, games, and more, and then share them with the world.
Yep, exactly. All right, back to the nitty-gritty details.
But our little tagline.
Hey,
thing is,
Mike hasn't bought any tokens they pointed out. Jared,
Yeah,
let me
Mike-
see your credit card and
How's
let's.
that
No,
Hey.
no, you do it.
how's
This
This is your account. I'll do it on my own.
How are the buy it nows working out for you?
Sell some more of those beta keys or something, and then you can buy some
I know,
tokens.
right?
We're totally kidding about that.
Mike is confident that he will gain enough credits to purchase what he needs
Yeah, he's getting close there.
by
Already
using
almost
Jared
3,000 credits.
by using Jared
By
and his
doing-
streams to complete his challenge.
By doing frequent streams and
That's
making
right.
Jared
Right, that's
play
what
it.
that you think we're doing the streams every day this week to show you guys how to use the beta?
No.
Not at all. This is all for Mike.
Yes.
Anyway, so I'm set up here. I've got a countdown timer and then a duration timer, and with grow underneath it there.
Right.
So this is just showing off how you can kind of combine the different timers to do some interesting stuff. So what's going to happen in this case is it's going to wait 2 seconds, and then for 2 seconds it'll grow the rock here. So it'll put a little bit of a delay in front of the growing action there. So 2 seconds of nothing, and then it grows for 2
Oh.
seconds and gets real big.
One of the cool lines that I heard about Project Spark yesterday, it was thrown around, was the one game leads to another. That's kind of another cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting
Tagline
thought with all
for
the
Project
remixing.
It makes me
Yeah.
think of that song.
One thing leads to another. That wasn't a Journey song, was it?
No.
Let's just put on a couple different things here.
Just making sure you're not trolling me.
I'm gonna make it highlights, do some
Oh,
more cool
I'm
stuff.
telling you.
Yeah, that looks good. I just want to show it off, highlighting there as well, so kind of show what that does.
So
Highlight and hologram
Caffeine
are
Powered
super
Frog
cool.
is asking, is it possible to create a giant boss, a monster with props after linking them to make them animate via brains? So we've shown some stuff in the other streams around a dinosaur. Somebody made
Yeah.
what do they call it, a velociraptor. We've shown the mech back at E3. So there's definitely a lot of ways to do it. I would say that's probably not the thing you're going to be able to accomplish in day one. It is a bit more tricky. But there are some cool ways to do it. One of the ways to do it is to potentially attach it to an invisible character. That's sort of how the dinosaur was done. So you could then arrange the objects around those type of things, and you can generate limbs and stuff like
I
that from
can't get
there.
up there.
And then, as you saw, the Bone Dragon game is a bunch of spheres that are glued together that have a brain that animated around. So there's just a ton of things you can do. It's just a matter of getting into some of the more advanced functionality to do a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of all this stuff here.
So, Jared, did I see something weird up in the air there?
Yeah, there might be something
Was
strange
there?
up there.
What was that?
We'll investigate that
Okay.
in a little bit here.
Okay.
So one thing to note, if you delete a parent rule, it'll also delete all the child rules as well.
Okay.
So what's what I
Right.
did there when I take
Yes, I've
everything
done
out
that
there.
before. Also, if you copy a parent rule, it'll copy all the child rules with it
Yeah.
and bring that over for you.
So if we just set up a couple blank ones here, we can show how that all works. So if I
So,
copy this,
talk about the voice connect input. I'm just trying to get the question, the non-beta key related questions that come up. I want to
Right.
reward the people
Right.
that ask those.
So on Xbox One, using Kinect, you'll be able to record your own full body animations. You'll be able to record your own voice, sounds, whatever else you can, I guess, vocalize. Maybe Journey, and you'll be able to record your own facial expressions, and then you'll be able to apply them to all of the characters. So that is the goal at beta, is also that you'll be able to basically generate and emote your own custom animation. So you'll be able to trigger them and play them however you want. People will be able to do things like create jumps or attacks or things like that by triggering them like that, but it probably won't be until after beta that we get around to doing things like replacing jumps and attacks and stuff like that.
Right.
Specifically. So that is what you'll be able to do. It's pretty easy to set up your own cutscenes. I think Tom Burdak, for those that know him as Code Logic, he's probably coming on the stream tomorrow or Friday, and he'll go over some more of the camera stuff. And you'll be able to see how you can sort of set up cool camera transitions and cutscenes and dolly cams and all types of cool shots. So you can make your own machinima and movies and things like that.
We get the website tomorrow, which will only be, I think, only a few minutes just running through that. And then they want us to look at some of the UGC that's been created in the game.
Already, cool.
And then...
I want to play Picross.
And what else do we have? Because I want to get Tom. I've been dying to get Tom on, especially now that he's not under the gun.
I think everybody's going to play Crossroads and dive into that probably themselves. So I don't know how much more.
Or they can just watch
the
Decane's stream.
I'd love to get the art crew on and do some really amazing stuff with the sculpting tools and go through each tool and some cool tips on how to use the sculpting tools and stuff like that. We need Claude to come by and show some of his cool tricks. Ari has offered to potentially come by at some point and do some cool brain stuff and show some of the more complicated things around pushing and multi-brain and stuff like that. So I think we've got a bunch of stuff, and then once we start rolling out beta more, we'll start getting into maybe some new stuff. Some never seen before, heard of before stuff.
We do have some stuff in the pipeline, right?
We do?
Yeah.
So we gotta. I mean, because we're kind of losing track.
Focused. We just wanna stay
Yeah.
focused
Well,
on
yeah,
beta,
yeah. But I mean, we
'cause
can't.
Beta's a big deal as it is.
Yeah, but we can't. If we have stuff coming, we gotta, kind of let people know it's coming.
Right.
We don't want to.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, hey, here it is tomorrow.
Yes, that's true. No, we don't
Usually
have,
what we do.
don't have options right now to stretch like on a certain vertice or anything like that. You can only scale the props, but one of the things that you can do is we have what we call primitives. So if you do want a specific shape, you can make them out of primitives. Jared made a lightsaber yesterday out of one of the
Yeah,
the
that was
primitives.
all out of cylinders there.
Oh, so your little squirrel buddy's doing a shockwave now?
Yeah, I mean, I just keep riffing on brains here while you guys keep talking.
Cool. So let's show some of the deeper stuff around the brains. Maybe like some of the variables.
Yeah. Can I talk through just what I was setting up here
Oh,
so
yeah,
people
sure.
understand what I was building for this? So I started looking at sensors because we talked about one of the
Right.
show how those work. And then I was going to do some stuff with like started to and after so people can kind of understand how that.
Right.
And then we can jump into where you just mentioned you want to get to eventually too? We'll get to it. Whatever it was. Okay.
Oh, variables. Show
Right.
people how to set up
Yeah.
variables.
Okay, that's a good idea. So in this case, I've got a sensor set up on the rock here to detect. So if I start from scratch here, I can go into sensors, and then there's a few different options you can use. So let's just overview those real quick. Detect is kind of just like a big sphere. So when something gets nearby, you can adjust how big that sphere is and the properties of an object. See, I was using that yesterday to push the goblins around, so it's kind of that vision cone in front of you. So when something enters the vision cone,
Right.
it'll be seen.
It's
Bump
good
is,
if you want to do some stealth stuff
yeah, using that on your enemies so
Yeah.
that they only attack things they see, so you can kind of sneak around behind them.
with a big exclamation mark.
Yeah, and then bump will kind of trigger when things bump into each other. Pretty self-explanatory there. Similarly for bump terrain, that's like detecting when your object has bumped into terrain. And then trigger zone is super handy for level design because that's kind of a box that you can resize and reshape in any way to kind of be like when something goes through a doorway, it'll trigger something else to happen.
And you can use the trigger zone on the object, or you could even just have like a logic cube there and use its trigger zone, so it's an invisible trigger.
Yep, exactly. And then Raycast is super advanced. I think we've used that on 1 or 2 streams.
Yeah,
if you roll back and
we
take a
need a
look
bat
at those.
signal Claude for the Raycast.
Right. Raycasting is a concept of I don't even know how to explain it in 2 cents. It's like
it's basically pinging a point from an object to see when it intersects or hits another point.
It's really useful if you think of it kind of like a bullet. It's like you're shooting a bullet from one place
Right.
to another, and where does it hit things in there, and that happens like super instantaneously.
So Aftershock says that it took him a while to figure out how to have a mob attack at random intervals. Anyway, you could really quickly just show how that kind of random stuff works and how you would put that to use in doing something.
Just like spawning enemies near the player randomly every so
No,
often.
no. So he had a creature, and he wanted the creature's attack to be at random times, right? So he randomly, you know.
Oh, there's a lot of ways to do that.
And so I think he figured it out, but he said it might be good to kind of show.
I kind of do it the simpleton way. I always roll a random number, and then I have sort of the attack frequency based on whether the random number fires or not.
Drop a goblin here to attack our squirrel.
So one of the things, go back to the brain you're in, because I think it was really interesting on what you did is, when you say detect squirrel, the do line actually has something really interesting in it. If you go to objects, you can put down it. And it actually refers to what the when detected.
Yep.
So it's a great way to just have a quick and easy way to do like a constrained list of what you want to return back from the when side, essentially.
Yep, exactly. So I picked the squirrel. I did that through the objects folder again. So going into objects and then the in-world picker here, you can go pick. I could pick any tree. So when it detects a tree, or in this case the squirrel, because I can move that guy around to show what's happening. And then I'm hologramming the squirrel because that's what he's waiting to detect. So I could again use the same squirrel over here if I wanted to do that, but it is kind of a super handy shortcut for whatever it is that was discovered on the when side. We can now do things
Right,
to
and keep
it
in
on
mind
the
if you
do
put a
side.
character in there and not an it, and you grab it from the gallery, it's going to do that for all of those same like characters. So it'll do it for all those squirrels. If you do it from the in-world picker, it'll do it for that specific squirrel that you've assigned to it. And then if you do it for it, it'll do it for the one that was conditioned in the when side.
Yep, so I just swapped that out now. So it'd be any squirrel that this rock detects, it'll then hologram that squirrel. And then similarly, I'm having it play a shockwave every time the rock detects me. So if I move near the rock and I get hologram, I can still be killed by this goblin. Get to him in a second. There goes that shockwave.
Well, I'll tell you something, sad horse. The horses are sad after riding all the way to Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
All right, what else was I gonna? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about after and how that works, and then started to as well. So started to is a kind of handy way of doing something just once.
Right, Mike's trying to hail a cab.
Is that what you're doing?
I don't know. They said wave your hand until you guys ask what's up. So
All right.
they didn't say anything else. I figured they were going to back me up and say,
I
"Oh, and then
think-
tell them this."
I
But
just take for granted Mike's trying to like leave or hail a cab or something.
And
I was trying to get the waiter.
That goblin just won't leave me
this
alone.
restaurant. I'm not coming here for lunch again, man. We've been sitting here forever. They haven't even taken our
What was
order.
that?
That was there's a little puddle of water down there. Sploosh. There we go.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, a little
I
geyser.
didn't even see that.
But so you notice here when I get close to the rock, the squirrel will just kind of flash every time I get close. So that's what the started to does. That's different than.
Oh, ow!
Oh man, I'm getting wrecked. Okay. We'll go.
Oh,
Man.
way to exit the game. You're
Man,
getting beat up.
he hit with you an opener, a manual
Goblin,
linker.
you just chill.
I don't
Chill
know,
over
man.
there. That's your island. You
He
can
was
have your
getting
own
ready to
island.
ultra combo you right there.
So that's what started to did. The difference of whether we had started to there or not. So before it was just hologramming whenever.
Right.
Whenever it
Started
was
to and
nearby.
once is a good thing. So one of the first things that I did was set up my character to equip an object, a weapon.
Yeah.
And I didn't say started to. I didn't say once. And I suddenly had a world immediately filled with weapons.
Yeah,
So
that's a great
when you want,
example of showing
when you
that
want
off.
something to happen once, ever, you want to use once. If you want something to happen once on the action that is set in its condition, you want to use the
Hide some keys in the stream. Come on, I think we're a little
No,
above that
that's
kind
kinda
of.
We would never do that.
Do anything like that. It's
Childish.
crazy talk.
We wouldn't do anything like that. Hey, can you change the sky?
Now.
Maybe.
let's finish our analogy with the weapon
Alright.
thing. You were just talking about equipping a weapon. I want to make sure people understand. So I got kind of a giant character in here. I just swapped out the squirrel.
Henry
for,
has ADD. Just go, oh, I wanted this now.
I do. I
So-
saw something in the sky.
Yeah, there just might be something up there. Anyway,
I'm reporting it to MUFON.
we'll get like a flying brain in here when we get to the movement folder.
I've been on their site all day. I'm just seeing what's going on.
That's where the beta keys are.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just following around the little.
Actually, that's
UFO
where we
on
get
MUFON.
them. I'm just waiting for them to get more, installing everybody. Again, like, guys, he'll drop off more keys.
No, not anymore. We'll go from the gallery here. Let's find some weapons. So maybe a sword or axe.
Or a bird egg.
Yeah, or infinite bird eggs. All right. Equip bird egg. It's gonna be super tiny compared to this character, but okay. So what happens now is because I didn't put once or started to, it's every time. Like when there's no condition, it's just constantly
Yeah.
do this action. So we're gonna be equipping bird eggs like 30 times a second here. Look at that. I'm just like leaving a trail of bird eggs
no.
everywhere.
That is kind of hard to see. Alright, I shouldn't have picked bird eggs.
Look at that. They're all
Better?
falling into the water.
It looks
though.
like he's like trying to do some
I guess
kind of
bird
Terminator
eggs
thing or something.
sink or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Every object has a weight. Alright, so let's do something more fun than bird egg.
Now, let me make this guy smaller too, so that he's not so giant compared to all that. All right, about 100%. There we go. That's good enough. And then in his brain, equip. Go back to the prop gallery, and
No.
axe. We'll do the ranger's axe. That one looks pretty cool.
Can you make the bird eggs jump around in the air and give them a random
we
colored
can do
light?
anything.
Oh, you heard it right there.
All right, so in this case, we'll show off what once does instead. So if I just drop once in there, it'll equip the ranger's axe just once instead of hundreds and hundreds of times like it was with the bird egg. So that's what's useful about the once tile inside the timing and logic there. And then after. So now I'm not a squirrel anymore, so this guy's not going to detect me. So let's switch that out.
After is a super powerful one.
Yeah.
When we were doing stuff like the point and click game and things like the old school Grim Fandango, Maniac Mansion type of point and click adventures in Monkey Island, after was great for setting the click spot.
Yeah, exactly. So what this does is it waits until this condition has been met, and then after that condition's met, it'll hologram the guy in this case.
And it'll run it indefinitely.
Right, indefinitely.
After the
so it's
condition's
like
met.
even if the condition is no longer met, it'll continue to be hologrammed and all that stuff. Just continues as soon as it's met, just forever afterwards, it'll be hologrammed. Or not.
I think we're only recommending people who are officially in Kazakhstan download in the Kazakhstan region at this point.
I don't know. I was reliably informed that it would be in the store any minute, right, Henry?
I can check my mail again. I didn't want to be rude and check my mail, but I can check my mail.
Never stopped me.
Ooh, there's a sale. No, wait.
All right, I'm on the store now too.
I'm not saying anything new here.
In this case, I'm just
It's
going to try
syncing.
hologramming the rock. I think that might be a little bit simpler test case for this.
Microsoft Office. Oh, that's
Yeah, I
there we go.
know. How does that come up?
What
when
is
you search
that,
for
man?
Project Spark?
They bought our
What kind
keyword
of
or
index
something.
is that?
Maybe because we were
Man,
both made
well,
by
they know.
Microsoft or something?
No,
I
no,
don't
they
know.
know that we're so cool that's what everybody
Oh,
be searching
right. They
for.
bought like the search rights for that. or
Yes,
something.
they totally squatted on the search rights.
So this is just detect.
I don't have any more information.
This is just detect character hologram. In this case, I'm hologramming the rock. So you see it turns on and off as I get closer and move away. So if I go in and stick an after in front of it, like that, after detect the character, it'll hologram the rock forever after the character is detected. So even if I run away now, it continues to hologram the rock. So kind of a simple and super useful little way to set up some timing. And
Every time
order
you
of
pause, I
events.
keep wanting to look at the recommended levels across the bottom.
Constantly tempted by that. Let's just go through until real quick while we're here. We're talking about that. So the until is kind of the opposite of after. So it's when that condition is not met, it hasn't been met yet because the character's too far away, it'll hologram the rock, and then when I get close, it'll stop, and it'll stop forever. So
Right.
even if the condition, it's kind of like not indefinitely, in a sense. So if I get close, it stops, and then even if I go away, it'll continue to be done forever. So it's until it detects the character, hologram, and then afterwards it's done. And then we were going to do something with movement and flying eventually too.
Gives you some of that. One of the things while you're in the brains, could you go back into the brains real
Yeah.
quick? So I just want to point out to everyone, when you go into the tile picker, which is what we call, so the way you do this here is you hit the plus button next to the when and the do. And when you go into that, you'll put in a tile, and then the plus will move over, so you want to add things by hitting the plus.
Yep.
Another thing that you can do is, we should probably show how to get into the gallery and the specific brain settings. So if you're in the tile picker, you can't see it here on screen because you're using controller. But if you use the mouse, so hop in.
Into the brain.
Yeah.
There we go.
If you use the mouse, these two buttons show up on the top. And the button with the brain on it gives you access to the brain gallery, where we have a bunch of default brains that you can just copy straight into here. And then the button next to it allows you to go to some of the brain options, where you can copy brain pages, rename the page, insert, etc., etc.
We haven't even talked about pages yet.
Right. And then if you want to access that on controller, you just hit the start button.
Yep.
So the buttons aren't visible on controller, but the start button brings you into the brain gallery menu, and you can get to all of the options from there.
Yep.
How long is the stream been going? I get like 50 new emails.
I don't know. I should have checked. Yeah. Well, so we're like 5 minutes over now. We're 2 minutes under.
Jeez, what's going on?
Jared, wrap it up.
Oh man. Okay. Well, let's should we be able to talk about movement and flying a little bit?
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
I think
no,
that'll be a good way to end here.
I think if people are finding the stream helpful, we can go for a bit more. You have no more. You know, no information. I have no new information.
Okay.
We're hoping it's on the store.
I just want look. I just don't want any more bad news.
I know.
I'm
hoping it's
gonna
on the store.
tell the team no more bad news this week.
We don't push the button, so I understand Mike's apprehension.
Oh, well, clearly, I think we should have. That was our mistake. We should have pushed the button ourselves.
So we're going to combine some control stuff and some movement stuff to kind of just talk about that a little bit. So if I go into the controls folder here, I can pick between different types of input. So if I want to make a touch game, or a keyboard and mouse game, or a controller game.
Or both. You should probably show
yeah.
and.
Right. So if I want to say when left stick move, let's just get that set up. So movement over here, basic, just simple moving around. Left
The
stick
concept
move.
of the modifiers is probably something we should cover.
Right. So in the modifiers here on the left stick, I can look at when push down, push left, so you can kind of only move forward or something with pushing it around. Or if you're trying to make a grid-based game and you want to detect when they're moving left
Or
and
do
right.
like a fireball input or something like
Right.
that.
And then by default, we kind of remap a lot of your controls for you if you're using some of the standard stuff like WASD and left stick. So that's like left stick will automatically be remapped to WASD. So if you code your brain to say when left stick move, it'll also work for when WASD move around. But you can turn that off if that's what you want. If you only want to use the controller, and then you want to have an alternate control scheme
Right.
for keyboard and mouse and some other things, you can do that too.
Which is really not a lot of reason to turn it off unless you don't want the little thing to pop up sometimes that indicates
Right.
you can use the other control mechanism.
I think the one instance where I remember doing that was in that Retro Reborn level. The shooting stuff was completely different than it was on controller.
Right.
So like in shooting for in that game on keyboard and mouse, it's like you click in the direction you want to shoot,
right.
and then it shoots.
Or if
that
you want
way.
to just assign something else to it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so when left stick move, and let's talk about movement.
Yeah,
modifiers
Mako
a
Wolf
little
is
bit.
right. That's what I was just thinking too. You could turn it off if you want to have like two players, one person on the mouse,
Yeah,
keyboard, and one person
That'd
on
be
the
a great
keyboard, one on the
reason to do it.
controller. Yep.
So in
Very
here,
true.
we can the modifiers for move. There's a ton of these. There's lots of different ways you can set up your movement to work. So by default, it just moves around in any direction. But if you want to make him move toward or away or a specific direction, or with flying or with strafing.
Now, one thing I've run into too is you want to make sure you have the indirection tile in here. We do have some stuff that's a little bumpy where you can say a direction or a position without putting the indirection in, and it won't work.
Oh, right.
So
good
you want to
point.
make sure you get the indirection tile in here when you start saying things like north or up or down or something like that.
Right. Yeah. That would usually I use those kind of move toward, move away, move in a direction in the brain of like a not a player, like
Yes,
in like an enemy
exactly,
or
yeah.
something like that. It doesn't really make much sense. You want to be able to decide your own direction
Yep.
as a player, so we'll leave that out. But maybe we can do like a speed modifier on here. So right now by default, I believe this is a multiplier. So whatever speed you set up in the properties, when I put in 2 here, that means it gets doubled. So move at double speed is what this is saying. So I should move around like extra quick now.
Henry, I don't know what's going on, but Duquesne and Zach from Sin City Spartan just came into chat at the same time.
Oh, I don't know.
So I don't know what's happening, but I can tell you it's not likely good.
I don't know. I thought you were implying like a Clark Kent Superman thing.
Oh, really? So you thought
Yeah.
maybe the
He
same
could be like
person?
one of those dual boxing type of things, like people play WoW with like 8 mages. at the same time. Spartan and Duquesne are like the same dual boxed person.
I don't know. They both hurriedly entered chat real casually, like nothing was going on. And I'm like, what did you just do? What did you just do?
I'm going to go ahead and add a with strafing on there.
Hopefully Duquesne has control over his air conditioning now.
Oh, yeah, thanks to Kane. Henry will not stop talking about when are we going to get air conditioning now? Duquesne has air conditioning. Why don't we have air conditioning?
So I'm back in the movement folder at the base level here. So not modifiers to move, but this is just all the different types of movement. And I'm going to set up my character to kind of turn in the direction.
And another thing really interesting is, again, like if you put down an inanimate object or like a rock or something, it has sort of a default side or direction. So sometimes if you want something to rotate, you have to use roll and pitch and stuff like that to change its directions. So you have to play around a little bit with humanoid objects and stuff like that sometimes to see which axis they're sort of on.
Yeah. So in this case, I'm trying to turn my character in the direction of the camera just all the time, regardless of what you're doing. So as you turn the camera around and look in different directions, your character will turn that way too.
So we're gonna make the Truman Show.
So so I'm looking for camera stuff, and it's not there. So I'm looking for positioning on the camera. So the facing in particular. So I happen to know that this is where this is at. So there's a bunch of useful stuff in positioning, but just to note, this is on the second page. So on the base level here, positioning is not on the first page. So you have to kind of page over. On controller, I do that with the shoulder buttons. On keyboard mouse, you've got the arrow keys up here to go forward and backward on the pages.
Yeah, I was lobbying for positioning to show up in modifiers, but it's complicated.
That could work. Modifiers would be around a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an interesting thing. We want it to be more contextual than that. So down here on camera positioning, I can grab the camera forward. So that'll turn my character in camera forward and then move around kind of with this strafing, which feels pretty good when you get those two lines set up.
So you wouldn't be that far away from setting up like a Gears of War type of camera.
Yeah, we're pretty close on that.
Thing. Since people here are now forming Gears of War clans in our chat, that might be a cool way to take this.
Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and switch out to a crossbow then, so I have a weapon to shoot with.
With a chainsaw on it. Or a cabbage.
Or a cabbage, one of the two.
Chainsaws, cabbages. Those are
Everybody loves
right,
cabbages. I don't know.
I got to set up an ability to shoot, so we'll get into a little bit.
I love a lot of the props that are on the first page. I don't know why that is.
A little bit of combat stuff here. So I'll put that on right trigger, under controls there, and then shoot is in combat.
Your own game currency, yes.
And then I'm going to make this shoot in direction of camera forward.
Yes, you could create your own XP or game currency within your game. Somebody asked before too, is could you put like a logic cube in front of you that carves through terrain, makes it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you saw that? Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, you can definitely do that as well.
Definitely, I could shoot projectiles that carve tunnels for me or something crazy like that.
I was going to ask that logic cube one, but I was afraid Jared would say, "Yes, you can do anything."
Well, I don't know, maybe.
Which is what I've been saying for like the past 4 months.
Isn't
People
cabbage
like,
what kimchi is made from? Right, cabbage is what kimchi is made from, right? So we gotta. I don't know. There's a reason for cabbage, I'm sure.
Well, that really went over well.
That did, didn't it?
Yeah.
I saw a lot of affirmations.
Did the test audience like it that one?
We're going to change the ending later.
So a couple
sack
things
the writer for that
I want to talk to what I just did here. I went ahead and copied and pasted a tile around, so that's kind of a nifty little thing. Like knowing that camera position or camera forward is way on the second page of everything there. If I'm going to reuse that, I can just copy with the left trigger and then paste it in up here with the right trigger. That works on keyboard and mouse. There's shortcuts for that as well that are super handy. And then I'm setting up displaying a crosshair at the screen center.
Sorry.
Something funny was
up
said.
What kimchi is now.
I know, right?
I thought it was like fermented cabbage or something. I don't know.
So if you're looking,
maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I'm getting so distracted.
This is important.
It's good. It's good. It's important. It's cool. You're interacting with the community. This is very important. They love
this
it.
This is like a kitchen nightmare moment where I'm coming in and randomly spouting stuff.
So when you're not trying to make kimchi and when you're trying to make an interface instead.
Why wouldn't you be? Really?
In Project Spark,
really, yes.
Interface stuff is all under the create. So in here, there's another folder full of interface. So, and in this case, I'm displaying crosshair at the screen center. And then crosshair I picked through the same prop gallery that you go pick props and things like that from. We've got a whole gallery full of icons that you can use in the game. And then you can specify specific screen coordinates if you want to be like really explicit on how you set things up. But in this case, I'm just going to use generic screen center.
Yeah, I push feet a little forward in the screen. Sometimes that helps as well.
All right. So in
Now,
this
can you mess with the camera and get closer to his shoulder a little bit?
Yeah, because right now I've got my character centered, which is a little bit awkward. So let's go ahead and set up an offset on the camera there. That'll feel pretty good.
See,
when we do
Cabbage
that.
Patch Zombies. That's a good one.
Maybe I'll just
that is a
I'll
good
shoot
one.
cabbages. We'll just set that up because you guys are talking about
Kimchi
it so
recipe
much.
made with Napa cabbage. See?
So one of the modifiers on the follow camera here is
Make a wolf.
offset.
I don't know.
I believe that's in. So this is modifiers folder after the camera, and then target offset. We'll use that.
Most rapid fire crossbow ever.
Yeah, so fast. And then now offsets you take vectors, which is kind of a new variable type. We were talking about variables before, but in this case, I want to offset a little bit to my right or left or something like that. So that's going to be back in positioning here, and then we've got world relative directions, like if I wanted to offset up or east or something, but I want to do object relative, so it's always going to be to my right. So I'll go into the directions here and set up right. So that might not be enough. We might want it to be a couple bits to the right. And you kind of see that pushes my character off to the right of the screen a little bit there.
And we want to get it in too. And then when you click in the roadie run.
Yeah, well, we could spend another like
No, I know.
day here building.
That's better
Gears
than
of War
cabbage,
stuff.
right?
All right, I think I'm gonna go back and set up. I think it's
People are asking how long is the stream going to be. I don't know if that's because they want it to end.
There we
or
go.
if
Oh,
they-
is it dragging on? I'm sorry, I was totally just surfing the web.
Mike
super
wasn't,
rapid fire.
Mike wasn't pulling us through with any kind of entertaining. What about an entertaining limerick
Yeah, entertaining limerick.
or a haiku?
How about some Vogon poetry?
I prefer haikus.
Oh, man.
So I'm gonna go ahead and insert a tile in here. I think that's also new.
That
for
sounds
people.
risky.
So not risky.
Do you
at
have
all.
clearance?
I do
for
that every day.
Do you have clearance for that?
So with by clicking the left stick, I can stick a tile in the middle of a line I've already worked on a little bit. You can also do that when you copy and paste tiles. You can paste them in the middle of another line.
And if you use mouse keyboard, you can right click.
Yep.
To bring up a panel and do things like insert and stuff like that.
So we wanted to shoot cabbages. So instead of crossbows, we're going to shoot cabbages.
They're
Yeah.
claiming you promised Journey.
Journey. I don't remember promising that.
Way to go, Jared. Making promises.
Oh, he's shooting cabbages. It doesn't get any better than this. This is how we end this game.
Well,
Actually, it's funny. They look like frogs in a way.
we're gonna modify movement stuff a little bit, and then we'll end with that. I think
And we should probably give the cabbages gravity.
that's a good idea. So another modifier on shoot there, just like in direction. I can stick on with gravity somewhere in here, with wind up, with
I think it's on the
interrupts,
second page.
with speed, launch. Wow, there's lots of stuff in here. Lots of modifiers on shoot.
There we
Keeps going. Friendly fire, all this stuff.
Launch
Bounce on
frequency.
impact with
go. So
gravity.
you don't have to have the world's most rapid fire crossbow.
I want to do with bounce on impact too, because that'll be cool.
Yeah, I love that too, actually.
All right, let's see how this looks. So now I've got like a cabbage launcher.
Doesn't have a lot of oomph to it, but it's doing it.
I need probably a little bit faster speed on that, so that
So this is Gears of Cabbage.
Gears of Cabbage.
Gears
Exactly.
of cabbage.
Let me go ahead and add speed on here so they go flying a little bit further. At speed. Maybe see what numbers are in here already. Speed 20. That'll be pretty good.
I think when we do something, so everybody keeps asking for Journey. I think when we get something like a really cool milestone, like 1 million downloads or something like that, we have to like hire someone to sing Journey. I didn't volunteer you this time, Mike.
Yeah, well, we saw how well that worked out last time.
There you go.
Oh,
Bouncing
nice.
cabbage. Cabbage crossbow. Do cabbages float? Apparently cabbages float. Awesome. Who knew?
See the things we learned about cabbage today.
All right, let's go ahead and modify this and make him fly around, and then we can
And shoot
figure out what
cabbage?
was up there in the sky earlier.
Ah.
Okay. So move. We're gonna go ahead and stick a modifier on here.
Hire Journey to sing Journey.
Say
Oh, should I just do that out of
flying.
the community budget, or do you want to do it out of the design
I
budget?
think we might need more than 1 million downloads to do that.
I think by default we move in direction of camera forward, so I should just be able to fly up. Well, we can go back in here and add that if not. All right, so now we're flying around.
Which?
So you see that? See that? There's something up in the sky up there.
That's not, you guys are. Is this a chemtrail thing? Because boy, I don't want to deal with that again.
All right, let's go over here. So how are we doing on time?
There's a lot of
here? Are
tinfoil there. We should probably wrap.
Okay.
All right, so we'll be back tomorrow at noon, right? With something. We'll show a website and some other stuff, And follow us on Facebook, Twitter.
Oh man, I think I'm looking at it
Are you
backwards.
And
making
that's
it really
it.
hard for me?
Looking at it backwards.
Everyone
That's
get your
kinda crazy.
mirrors.
What the? Excellent, because this isn't going to cause a bunch of trouble.
All right, let me fly to the other side.
Jared, you're gaining fans on it.
So, all right. Well, on that note, guys, we'll see you on tomorrow.
Oh, there it is.